Hey, what's going on guys, TurtyWurty here, and welcome back to another Minecraft modding tutorial. This one is going to be episode 35, and it is on custom projectiles. So I have been looking into this for a while, until I received some code on an idea of how to do it by someone called Ilja. So big shout out to him. But this tutorial works on both client and server, which is good because I managed to make it work on server as well as client. So let's get started. So basically, before we start, this tutorial is a custom projectile where you can have your own texture for the projectile, and it can do custom things just like our other ones, but the main point is it has its own texture, so it doesn't look like a snowball or an egg or arrow, and it's actually pretty simple to do. So first we obviously want the actual item that we throw it from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do public static final item, and I'm going to go ahead and call this Magi Ball is equal to a new Magi Ball. So this is just what I'm naming my projectile, but you can name it, whatever you want, and put Magi Ball in there. Then you want to go ahead and create this class. So in our items package, we want a new class and call this Magi Ball. This needs to go ahead and extend item, just like all our other items. Then we need to go ahead and create the constructor. So while this is loading, oh, never mind, it's already loading. But while I'm doing this basic stuff, which you should already know how to do, I'm just going to try and explain to you why I haven't posted a video in a while, and why that may stay the same for the next maybe week or so. So I've been quite busy recently with like exams, and I've had other things which I've wanted to work on. I have a massive announcement coming out soon, probably at the start of the summer holidays, because that's when I'll have loads of time to record, and there'll probably be a massive amount of videos come out throughout the summer holidays. There will be 2 weeks during the summer holidays, the second 2 weeks, so that is, I think, 2 weeks 1 day time from then, and 2 weeks forward. I will not be posting because that's when I'm going on holiday, and I don't really have time to go ahead and pre-record tons of videos. So yeah. Anyway, now we've done the constructor, we want to go ahead and create the onItem right click method. So this is what's going to happen obviously when we right click the item. So we want to first go ahead and declare the item stack. So item stack is equal to player in dot get held item main hand, or no, just get held item, and then we can use hand in, should be more accurate. Then we want to go ahead and create the vec 3D. Look is equal to player in dot get look vec, and go ahead and import vec 3D. And then we want to declare our entity, so our projectile. So I'm going to go ahead and do entity Magi Ball is equal to new entity Magi Ball, and inside of these brackets you want to put world in, comma 1.0D, 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 just like that. Then you want to go ahead and do Magiball dot set position. Obviously we have errors because we haven't created the thing yet. So we want to set the position to player in dot posx plus look dot x and times 1.5d. So obviously you might want to go ahead and mess with these values just to try and get it more centered, because the one I'm doing isn't super centered. So for the next one you want to do player in dot pos y plus look dot y times 1.5d, and then player in dot pos z plus look dot z times 1.5d. So that's basically the position we are setting it to. Then we want to use the shoot method. So we want to do Magiball dot shoot, and inside of here you want to put player in dot rotation pitch, and then player in dot rotation yaw, and then you want to go ahead and do 0.0 f. I'm not sure what these values are. 1.5 f, 0.5 f. Yeah, I'm not sure what those values actually are. I don't know. I think it's speed, maybe. So then you want to go ahead and do if world in is not remote. Then we want to spawn the entity. So world in dot spawn entity and Magiball, like that. Then we want to go ahead and play a sound. So world in dot play sound. Obviously you don't have to play a sound, but I think it's just, you know, more realistic that we do. So you want to go ahead and do null for the first one. Then you want to do player in dot get position. Then you want to do sound events. Well, for mine I'm going to do sound events dot entity egg throw. But obviously you can go ahead and create your own sound if you want. For the category, we want to do sound category dot players, as we don't want it to play to others that we have thrown it. So players. For the volume, I'm just going to put 1.0f, and I'm going to do the same for the pitch. I'm also going to put 1.0f. And finally, well, almost finally, we want to shrink the stack. So what you can actually do here is if player in dot capabilities dot is creative mode, then we can do stack dot shrink, because obviously we don't want to go ahead and shrink the stack if they're not in creative mode. No, if they are in creative mode. Wait, if they're not in creative mode. Yeah, there we go. And then we just want to go ahead and return a new action result of item stack, and then enum action result dot success, and the result we want to put here is just stack. And basically that is the item class done for an actual fact. So next we probably should go ahead and create this entity. So inside of our entity package, I've already created a new package for our Magiball. In here we want to put a new class, and we're going to call this entity Magiball, and hit finish. This class wants to go ahead and extend entity throwable. So extends entity throwable, and just go ahead and import that. Now we have our 3 constructors to make, which we need to do for every entity. So I'm just going to copy this. Actually, I might as well do world in, because that is in all of them. So, and then we've got 3. So we want to get rid of this stuff inside of here. Right, so for the first one, we're just going to keep it like that. But we're going to want to super off of world in here. Actually, we should have copied that how it is now, but that's fine. For the second one, we want entity living base, and we want to call this thrower in. And in here, you just want to super off of both of those arguments. So world in and thrower in. And import that. For the last one, you want the positions, which will be double X, double Y, and finally double Z. Obviously, we want to go ahead and super off this again. Super off X, comma Y, comma Z. Just like that. So now we've got all of our constructors done. And let's go into our Magiball class and just go ahead and import these. And in here, let's import Magiball. Therefore, we can now close our item in it. We can close our Magiball class. Now we just have our entity class to deal with. So next, we want to go ahead and create the method on impact. And here is basically what you'll do when it hits a mob. So I'm going to do if world in, or no, it will be if not this dot world dot is remote. Then we want to do set dead to make sure the entity actually dies when it interacts with an object. Then we want to do result dot entity hit dot attack entity from, and we want to do damage source dot cause thrown damage, and the source is this, and the indirect source is this dot thrower. Then for the amount, we want to go ahead and do random dot, you can do random not next float, or you can go ahead and choose a float yourself, but I'm just going to choose random not next float, just like that. Obviously you can also do loads of other things. So for example, result dot entity hit dot add potion effect. Say we want to do that, can we not do that? No, wait. Okay, what we can do though is we can do if if result dot entity hit is instance of entity living base. Then what we can do is we can cast our entity hit to living base. So we can do entity living base entity is equal to result dot entity hit, and obviously we want to go and cast that, so we can do entity living base just like that. Basically what that does is it tells it that the entity hit was a living base. Therefore you should then be able to do entity.add potion effect, and here you can do new potion effect of mob effects, and I want them to levitate, so we can do dot levitation, Then we want the amount of time, I believe. So 1200 is 3 minutes, I think. That might be wrong. I'm kind of just guessing. And say I want levitation 3. So what that will happen is it will cause the mob to fly up. Now, an extra thing I'm just going to do, if entity is instance of entity, let's just say entity cow, yeah, in here we want to check that it's not an entity cow. So let's go ahead and take that out. Oh, no, not like that. So then we can just do else and put that in there. So what I want to happen is if it's an entity cow, then we want to go ahead and do a few extra things. So entity.set glowing to true, so we can set the cow to glow, and we can also do entity.set fire, and we can just do 5 seconds. Then we can do entity dot, and you can see all these different things that we can do. So I'm going to make him move forward, and that won't work, will it? Move forward is equal to true, maybe? Is it a boolean? It is a boolean. No, it's not. Okay, let's just do 1.0f, because I'm not sure kind of how that's working. That might not work, that might not do anything. So yeah, that's that. So if it's not an entity cow, then it will just add levitation. If it is a cow, then it will set it to glow, and it will set it on fire, and it should hopefully make it move forward. So that's our entity class. So pretty simple. And we've done our item. Now we have our entity init. Now this is not simple. Well, it is simple, but it's not as simple as registering a normal entity. It's slightly different. So we just want another private static void, and we want to call this register projectile, or you can call it register custom projectile, but I'm just going to call it register projectile. And then we want string name, int id, class, then what are these called? Triangle brackets, I think they're called. Question mark, extends entity, and we want to call that entity, comma, and then finally item, and that method is now created. Then in here we want to go ahead and put entity registry dot register mod entity. First we want to put a new resource location of name. Then for the entity class we want to put entity. Then for the entity name we want to put name. For the ID we keep ID. For the mod we want our tutorial mod.instance. Then for the tracking range we put 64, update frequency 10, send velocity updates true. And we can remove the primary and secondary egg colors as we don't want that. And just import item from net.minecraft.item.item. Then obviously you actually want to go call your entity here, so you can do register projectile. For the name I'm going to put Magiball. For the ID we're going to go ahead and put Magiball again. Oh wait, we're not doing IDs like that, are we? No, we're not. Okay. Okay, we'll leave that one for a second. And for the entity, we want to go ahead and put entity pebble. No, that's my own projectile. I've been working with it a lot recently. Entity magiball dot class. And for the item, you want to go ahead and put item init dot magiball. So basically, this item is where it receives the texture from. So yeah, that's where it received the texture from. And for the magiball, so for the ID, I mean, we need to put reference dot entity underscore magiball. We just need to pop into reference and create a new ID. By the way, guys, you don't have to have them as 250 and 251. That's the same for the GUIs. I believe you can have them as any number. Obviously, you will have a lot of you can have issues because if another mod has the same entity ID or GUI ID, then it will probably crash. So that is why at some point we will make a configuration file, so they can go ahead and configure that to make it a number which doesn't collide. Because you always want one of those, whether you think you're going to use it or not. So now that's done, that's all of that done. Next thing we need to do is go into our proxy. So I believe, if I remember correctly, last time on the server side issues, yes, we did. We created this method. Good. So we can actually go ahead and put something in this method now. So in here you want to put rendering registry dot register entity rendering handler. For the entity class you want to put entity magiball dot class, and then for the renderer you want to go ahead and put new render snowball. So we're still using the renderer for the snowball. We're not going to create our own renderer, as they are kind of annoying to register, and we don't need one, to be quite frankly honest. Then we might do a tutorial for them at some point, but I doubt it. Unless you guys really want one, then we will obviously have one. So inside the brackets here you want to put minecraft.get minecraft.renderManager, and then you want to go ahead and declare the item that we want this to be. So as the second parameter you will have item init dot what did we call it? Oh yeah, magiball. And the third you want to put minecraft dot get minecraft dot get render item, and that should be that for that method. Now if you want to go ahead and create another projectile, all you need to do is copy this and just go ahead and change names and classes, and that will work fine. I want to go ahead and double check our registry handler to make sure we registered this last time. If you didn't watch the last tutorial, by the way guys, you need to go ahead and create this render method, but you need to create it in common proxy. It's just public void render. That's all you need in common proxy. Then in client, you can call that method, so you override it, public void render, and you just put this code in there, which I just put in there. Then in our handler, so registry handler, we can go down to, should have put it somewhere. So in init registries, at the bottom, you want to put tutorial mod dot proxy dot render, and yeah, that's it. So that should actually be it. You want to go ahead, create your item model and do your lang. So yeah, we need to go into our lang, just down here, and we want to first go ahead and do the entity. So entity dot okay. I'll back in a second once this is done, guys. So we're in the lang, and entity dot magiball dot name is just equal to a magiball. We'll do not what I just put, but yeah. Then we need to go ahead and go up to items. So item dot magiball is equal to magiball. Keep doing this wrong. Magiball. There we go. Close that. Now we need to go ahead and do the item model. So not there. Assets, tutorial mob, models, item, and we'll just use boots Ruby. Name this magiball. It does. Huh. Interesting. I must have already done this. I already did it. Okay. Well, you need to just go ahead and do that. And that probably means I still have the texture. So textures, items, inside of here you need to get your texture. So magiball. It's there. It's not a great texture, but it will do. Works fine for me. So I think that's actually it. We don't need to create a render class or register in the render handler because it's got a custom render, so we don't register that because that's already registered, basically. So now I suppose let's go ahead and run the game, and I'll see you guys in the game. Alright, so guys, now we're in the game, and I have my magiball. I don't know why it's called magiball.name. I don't know if we messed something up there in the lang. Obviously that's not a big issue. Oh yeah, item.magiball.name is obviously the correct thing. But if I right click it, you should see, there it goes. Oh, it did work, trust me. I want to put this in here. So yeah, we might want to put it in there. And just do entity, just to make sure it's a living base. That's what we're gonna do, and see if that works. So I'm gonna run the game, and I'll see you guys back in the game. Guys, just got back in the game, and I have tested it, so it does work. As you see, if I hit this, he levitates because that extends entity cow. Oh no, it's the other way around, isn't it? So obviously he sets on fire, he glows, and you see he moves forward a lot. And if you hit a chicken, you know, he will kind of just float up. And yeah, it'll take a while for him to come back down. He will come back down. Obviously if you actually throw directly up, you do hit yourself. And that is because of the look vector I did, but you can change that and probably fix that. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, please do be sure to smash your face into that like button and subscribe. Obviously if you really enjoyed it, please do be sure to share it. I will see you guys in the next video.